I'm 78 years old, and I learned what love really was only after my wife was gone. That's a hard thing to admit out loud, but most days now there's no one left to hear it anyway. I sit in the small kitchen of the house we shared for almost 5 decades. The clock on the wall still ticks the same way it always did. A little too loud, like it's reminding me it hasn't stopped just because she has. Everything else feels quieter. Even my own breathing sounds careful, like I don't want to disturb the space she used to fill. I didn't come here to sound wise. I came because there isn't much time left for me. And some things don't want to stay buried when you get this old. They come up whether you invite them or not. I used to think love was something you felt, a warmth, a closeness, a kind of happiness you could recognize. I thought if you felt that, you were doing it right. If you didn't feel it as strongly anymore, that meant it had faded. Or maybe it was just the way things go. I was wrong about that, but I didn't know it until there was no one left to show me. Most mornings now, I make coffee for one. I still reach for the second mug sometimes, out of habit. It's a small thing, but it still catches me off guard. I'll hold it in my hand and then remember, it always feels like a mistake I just made, even though it's been 2 years since she died. Her name was Helen. She had a way of walking into a room quietly, like she didn't want to be noticed. But somehow everything felt steadier once she was there. I didn't see that at the time. I was usually too busy thinking about something else. We met when we were both young. I was 24, she was 22. We worked in the same office building downtown. She was in accounting, I was in sales. We'd pass each other in the hallway, sometimes just a nod, sometimes a quick hello. One day I asked her if she wanted to get coffee. She said yes in a voice that sounded surprised, like she hadn't expected anyone to ask. We got married 3 years later, a small wedding. Her parents were there, mine too. We took a photo outside the church. I still have it in a frame in the bedroom. We both looked so young, so sure of ourselves, like we had all the time in the world. And in a way, we did. But I treated it like it was endless. I went to work every day. I stayed late. I brought it home with me. I thought that was what being a good husband meant. Providing, making sure the bills were paid, making sure there was a future. Helen didn't complain, not much. She would ask sometimes if I could come home earlier, or if we could plan a weekend away. I'd say soon. I said that word a lot, soon. After this project, after the next promotion, after things settle down. Things never really settled down. She took care of the house. She made dinners. She remembered birthdays. She called my mother when I forgot. She kept track of all the small things that make a life run. I noticed some of it, not all of it. When we had our daughter, I was 32. Helen was 30. I remember holding that tiny, wrinkled baby and feeling terrified. I also remember feeling proud. I worked even harder after that. I told myself I was doing it for them. Helen was home with the baby most days. I'd come back late and she'd be tired. Sometimes she'd want to talk. I'd half listen while thinking about emails I hadn't answered yet. I didn't think I was being cruel. I thought I was being responsible. Years went by that way, quietly. The baby grew up. The house got fuller, then emptier again. Our daughter moved out. Helen and I sat across from each other at dinner, the same table, the same chairs, but somehow it felt different. She would ask me how my day was. I'd answer. Then I'd ask her. She'd answer too. But it felt like we were speaking from different places. like two people reading from separate scripts. Sometimes she would tell me about a book she was reading, or a neighbor she'd talked to, or something she'd seen on a walk. I'd nod. I didn't realize those were invitations. I thought they were just stories. Looking back now, I can see she was trying to be seen. I wasn't good at that. Seeing. I thought love was still there because we weren't fighting. We weren't yelling. We weren't in trouble. We were stable. That felt like enough. It wasn't. The slow cost of that kind of thinking is hard to explain. Nothing breaks. Nothing explodes. Things just thin out, like a photograph left in the sun. You don't notice it fading until one day you can't make out the faces anymore. We missed little things. I missed her sighing when I walked past her without stopping. I missed the way she lingered in doorways, like she wanted to say something but didn't know how to start. I missed the long pauses at the end of conversations. I told myself we were just comfortable. I told myself this was what long marriages looked like. Then she got sick. At first it was small things, tiredness, a cough that wouldn't go away. She didn't want to make a fuss. I still remember sitting in that cold room when they told us it was cancer. The word felt heavy in my mouth. I didn't know how to hold it. We went home. She sat on the couch. I stood in the kitchen pretending to look for something. I didn't know what to say. She started treatment, hospital visits, long waits, the smell of antiseptic, the beeping machines. I took time off work then. I sat with her. I held her hand. I thought I was finally doing the right thing. But it was already different. She was weaker, tired all the time. Some days she barely spoke. One night she looked at me and said, very quietly, "I wish we had talked more." I said, "We can still talk." She shook her head, not angry, just tired. That was the closest she ever came to telling me she felt alone. I didn't understand how much until later. She died on a rainy morning. I was sitting by her bed. She squeezed my hand once. After the funeral, the house felt hollow. Not empty, hollow. Like it still had her shape in it, but she wasn't there anymore. I walked through the rooms, her shoes by the door, her coat on the hook, her favorite mug in the cabinet. All these quiet proofs that she had lived here with me all these years. That's when it started to hit me. Not all at once, slowly, like everything else. I realized how much of her life had been spent waiting for me to look up. How many evenings she had probably sat across from me, wanting to say something, and decided not to. How many times she had gone to bed feeling like she hadn't been met where she stood. And I had been right there the whole time. Love, I finally understood, wasn't the feeling I thought it was. It was the attention, the choosing, the small acts of showing up when it didn't seem important. I had given her my paychecks, my schedule, my name, but I hadn't always given her myself. And now there was no way to go back. Some days I still talk to her. Not out loud, usually, just in my head. I tell her things I should have said before, that I noticed her, that I was grateful, that I was sorry. I don't know if it goes anywhere. I'm not here to tell anyone what to do. I don't know your lives, I only know mine. What I know is that time feels very different when you don't have much of it left. All the things I thought were urgent before seem small now. The emails, the deadlines, the plans. What feels big now are the faces, the voices, the moments I let slip because I thought they would come back around. If you're listening to this and there's someone in your life you keep meaning to really be with, I hope you don't wait as long as I did.
not because it will fix everything, but because it's the only part that doesn't get a second chance.
I don't have much left now, just my memories. Some of them are good, some of them hurt, but they're all I have. That's what love is, I think. What's left when everything else is gone. And most days, I wish I had known that sooner.